self-critique video for week 2 of CSF. This is what I've gotten for my second project. I was working on it earlier and I finished it just now. Yeah, this project was actually very difficult at first. I had a harder time getting this one laid out than I did last week's. Thankfully, the trackers that I had put out on the scene itself, I was able to figure out how to do it. But for instance, like I was able to get everything laid out in such a way that thankfully the trackers all lined up properly. I got everything set accordingly, so you could see the bridge right there and up against the wall right there, and the camera comes in. Thankfully, one of the biggest problems I had this week was being able to balance out how many trackers I had in the scene, where I didn't have too many or I didn't have too less. I had a lot of really bad ones that I couldn't for the life of me figure out how to get rid of them. So like for instance, there was a couple of these ones that, especially for the main trackers, a lot of the main trackers when I tracked them, they ended up being corrupted, and they were red and they just weren't working the way that I wanted to, and my pixel rate was like skyrocketed the second I put them down. Then I had to go in, basically delete them all, and then retrack them again, and they were still having problems. So what I did was I went in and I basically just went in and did where I would just I went in manually and I would go in and basically edit the section that tracker is in, and if there was any red or yellow, I would basically use the method that our teacher taught us, how you would unlock it, and then press this button to deactivate it for that section of the track. Overall, this week it wasn't hard. It was tricky and tedious, but it wasn't difficult. I put a box for the bridge. I wasn't really sure if we were supposed to actually make an arch and an open area for the character to run through into this guy right here. I wasn't really sure, so I just put a box of geometry right there. I also put a plane where he runs in and he rests right there, and the perspective is already down. So yeah, so overall this week at first it was very, very difficult to understand just what they wanted us to do exactly. Thankfully, I was able to get all the trackers working properly and placed in such a way where they all worked, and I had a decent amount, to the point where it was a perfect amount and it wasn't too much or wasn't too little. Getting everything laid out was the easy part. Just figuring out the tracking process, that was the hard part. Figuring out which ones were bad, which ones were good, trying to get it balanced out, that was the hardest part that I had. Thankfully though, with the help of the videos that were on FSO, it helped tremendously, and it helped me understand exactly what to do in a situation where you have really bad trackers and you don't know what to do, or don't know how to get rid of them, or don't know how to tweak them and make them better. But yeah, I was able to get everything squared out, able to get everything done in such a way where it looks really decent, really presentable. And yeah, this concludes my self-critique video.